Welcome to Live with Elder Kabir, where we are reminded to be faithful in the little. I am the voice behind the scenes, Deacon David. Today we have an encouraging show for you. Please watch till the end, and we hope you are blessed by this live stream.
Hey, shalom, shalom. It's good to be back. I just want to give all praise to the Most High Yah. Once again, Yah is just always amazes me on how faithful and wonderfully how wonderful He is, how gracious and amazing He is. His words are beautiful. And just wanted to just say I thank Yah for this ministry, Straightway Truth Ministry. I thank Yah for our shepherd, Pastor Charles Dow Jr., for his faithfulness to this, to following the Most High Yah, feeding the sheep. He is truly a Jeremiah 3:15 pastor. So we have a great live stream for you today, and I hope this will edify a lot of people because as I go through my journey, everybody that may have followed me before know my journey of coming into this truth, and to come into this truth, you have to be humble. It's a humbling experience. Everybody that I've known that's come into this truth, Pastor Dow, all the way down to any of us that's coming, myself. I mean, it's a humbling thing to come to Yah. But when you do, He restores you. But there's no other way to do it. It's through humility. So anyway, we're gonna go through today's show, and one of the things I want to do is I want to come from the perspective of the father. This is more. I know you may see the thumbnail, but it's really about restoring your relationship with your children biblically, and this is very important because I've seen so many. Obviously, me going through a divorce, losing my own family. One of the things that people kept telling me during this time is that your children will return. They will return. So me being the person that I am, if you know me, I am a planner. I try to prepare, just so that when the time come, I can respond instead of reacting. Right. So I'm well thought out. I mean, you know me, Deacon, right? I mean,
You're one of the most organized people that I've ever met. So.
But you can't plan for everything. But one of the ways that I try to plan was I talk to people who's been through the same thing I've been through, who's come into this truth, or just in general, people who've just been alienated from their children. And
with all due respect, if I may correct you, if that's okay.
Yes.
But even though you say that maybe you weren't prepared, but you were more prepared than most people.
Yeah.
A lot of people who went through what you've gone through, they've gone through bankruptcy, they've lost it all, and at least because of your methods of living, even under the 4% rule, you were able to at least keep your head above waters.
Yes. So. Yes. Thank you so much for bringing that to remembrance. Yes, because that could have been. You can see how easily why people get into bad shape. Yeah. You go from 30% debt to ratio, and then all of a sudden that 30% turns to 60% when you lose half. Then on top of that, you lose your sons and daughters. You call it children, and you lose your children, and then now you're paying child support, and that right there just literally just is just it's the final blow. I mean, it would take out most men. It really does. It's a tough thing to be, and so. But anyway, what are we talking about here? We're talking about how to restore. So in my journey to prepare myself for the time when my sons and daughters, if they choose to, and they will naturally, and doesn't mean, and what are we going to show you here is the proper way to doing it. But the proper way of doing it does not mean proper results. Well, I guess what is the result you're looking for? So it's not like, okay, if you do this, this is going to happen. Yeah. It's not really necessarily about that. It's more about just doing what's right in His eyes, doing it the way He did it. And so regardless of how your children may respond. So this is not about how your children respond. They can respond one way or the other, but it's really about doing what's right in our Father's eyes. And so, guys, remember, this whole thing, this whole book is about the relationship that Yah has with his people. And he's giving us instructions on how to do our role. And so I want to take an angle at this that I don't see out there too many people talking about this stuff, but it's in here. It's in here. Now, if you are a person who's been alienated from your father, you can look at it from that perspective. I'll give you this analogy. I was talking to brother TJ this morning. There was this movie, I know it's Disney, but it was this movie that I used to watch when I was a little boy. When it first came out, during my generation. It was called Lion King. You remember that, Deacon? Do you remember watching Lion King? I mean,
my goodness, yeah, that was on repeat.
That's one of the movies you just keep watching, listen over, and it's considered a Disney classic, I believe. They made Broadway plays off of this and everything like that. So, but I couldn't help, when I'm watching this movie of Lion King, and because of where I was at the time, I was just a boy, grew up in my father's home. And then I go to high school. But whenever I watched it, I'm watching the movie from Simba's perspective. Now you got Mufasa, you got Nala, you got the mother, you got a whole bunch of things, Rafiki, and you got all these characters around. But the only person that I could really identify when I was a little boy watching this movie was Simba. Because I know it's like to be a boy. I know it's like to be a son. And the crazy part is my dad's name is Mustafa. And the father in the movie is called Mufasa. So I really had a connection with the movie. So
I never thought about that.
Yeah. I'm thinking Mustafa. Like my dad had this deep voice and big hands, and I mean my dad was larger than life, so I could relate. I remember one time when Simba got in trouble, and then all of a sudden he said, "Mufasa, come here." And it sounded like my dad. And he's walking, he sees his dad's paws. That's like my dad's hand, like, oh shoot. So anyway, why I say this? So eventually I became a husband. I start taking care of a woman, and then we had a baby. And when we had our baby, I remember I said, "Oh man, I want my son to watch Lion King, just like I watched Lion King, right?" And I'm thinking the movie. I have an idea of how this movie is based off of when I was a little boy. When I last watched it is when I was a little boy, and so I put my son and said, "Man, this is a classic." We're watching it, and all of a sudden, it looked like I'm watching a whole new movie. It's the same movie I've watched, but I'm seeing things that I didn't see before, and all of a sudden, I catch myself no longer looking at it from Simba's perspective, but now I'm looking at it from Mufasa. I'm looking at it from his perspective as a father, showing him the kingdom, telling him about the circle of life, when he had to go rescue him. And he looks bold, rah, getting rid of all the hyenas and everything like that. And Simba said, "Yeah, that's my dad." Boom, boom, boom. And the dad explained to his son, "I was scared." He said, "Dad, you're scared." But I understand now, like, wow. I was just having a whole moment of just watching this movie and seeing that you can watch the same movie and get totally different, see a totally different perspective.
Right.
It's the same thing as this Bible. The Bible is the same thing. Maybe when you read this, and most people, so I've read the Bible. That's why you should always continue to stay in this book, because as you experience things in life, all of a sudden things start coming to life when you read this book. Maybe when you saw it from just Israel. Most of the time I was seeing it from Israel perspective, from the Israelites, or from maybe it could be Jacob or whoever, David or whatever the case is. But as you experience life and you experience hardship, what do I have back here? We call it the painful, the University of the Painful Truth. Mm-hmm. When you grow up, you're no longer naive. You're no longer innocent. You see what the world is really all about. You see how wicked the world is, things that your parents try to shelter you from, things that we try to shelter our children from. Right. But the harsh reality is people are evil. There's more evil people than there are good people. True. And you got to accept. Say that again.
The path is wide for the wicked. It's vast.
Yeah, even Yeshua, what he says that
straight is the way, narrow is the
no,
way.
He says, let me see if I can find this here. Hold on, let me look this thing up here. So we're just gonna have a conversation here, guys, and And I'm hoping that this will really help a lot of people.
I'm here for it, Elder. I need it.
You need what?
I need the conversation. Hey,
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
I
yeah.
need to be
So
edified and encouraged too.
yeah. So there's a how do I find this here?
Give me a keyword.
Code. I'm trying to find it.
Oh, that's Revelation. Or rather, you be
No,
hot or
this
cold.
right here. Okay, Matthew. Is that funny? Yeah. I don't know why it looks funny here. Matthew 24:12.
Let me pull it up.
Yeah,
Matthew.
you can
Matthew
pull
what?
it up. Yeah, Matthew 12:24.
Okay.
And it's just real quick. I just wanted to just remember because I want to say right, but it says Yeshua, right? In Matthew 24, verse 12 says, and Yeshua, that because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. That's the world we live in, guys. That Yeshua told us, he says, because iniquity, meaning people are lawless, the lawlessness will abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure to the end shall be saved.
Didn't you recently have an interaction with somebody that you talked to in the past, and every time you see them, they run away from you? Gotta go.
Oh yeah, I talked to this guy. And I'll say his name. His name is Ralph, but it doesn't matter what it is. But I was talking to this guy. Well, it was a guy that I used to serve as a deacon when I was in my last the church before Straightway. I was part of a church called Living Hope Church, and I was a deacon there. And I served with another guy there at the time, and he's Spaniard. He's literally a Spaniard. I don't know if he was born in Spain and moved over, but he's a Spaniard. He speaks Spanish, but like he speaks the authentic Spanish, not the type of Spanish. Yeah, like he doesn't speak the Spanish you speak, Deacon. He speaks and the reason why I knew that it was like the real Spanish because there was a girl who's from Mexico, so I'm using the word Mexican because she's from Mexico, because I know you're supposed to expand, I don't even know if I'm using the word right. But anyway, but she was going to this church and she heard this Deacon Ralph, say the word. I mean, they start speaking in Spanish. She said, wow, he's speaking the more proper Spanish.
The real Spanish.
That's what she said, the real Spanish. I'm like, really? To me, it all sounds the same to me, And so, but he was saying, but anyway, this guy literally told me that, when we were serving together, he said that he used to be racist. I don't know why he told me. I mean, he told me, he said he used to hate black people.
Overcame, right?
Yeah, he overcame it, and he wanted to tell that to me, like confess that, so that he can be healed. And I said, well, praise God, and everything like that. And now that I'm studying about our people and Spain and the Spanish Inquisition, 1492, I think. I'm not sure if I got the right date there, but I mean, and now like, wow, this is probably where the hate came from. So anyway, I said this time, and I remember just saying, man, when I see him, I'm going to ask him. I see him at the post office the very next day. I prayed about this the very next day, just recently, literally this week. I saw him. I walked in just about to do my business. I'm like, oh my goodness, I just thought about him this morning. What's the chance of running into him? Because I remember the first time I met him, I remember Pastor told me, hey, watch out. When I first came into truth, people are going to start acting strange. He was one of the first people, actually the first person that was acting strange. He saw me at Walmart. And I was watching a highlight because they had like a Green Bay Packer thing at Walmart, and I'm watching just the highlight tapes, and I had a hood on, and so he, you couldn't really recognize me right off the bat. So he came up very nice because I want to say he's a nice guy, but he comes off very nice. He said, hey, he was an older guy, he said, hey, what are you watching? And as soon as he saw my face, it's like he saw a ghost. And I'm talking about this. I think he's 60 something. I don't know how old he is, 50, whatever. But he can't run. But this man was running, but he was really walking because he can't run. But he's like, gotta go. I mean, like he just took off. I didn't know if I'm supposed to run after him. Am I supposed to just watch him? But he just took off. Bizarre. Then another time I saw him at the post office. Now that was at Walmart. Then I saw him at post office. And he just gave me, I'm talking, he looked at me like, I'm talking about the meanest look. Like I'm talking about an evil eye. Yeah, don't the book say that y'all hate the evil eye or whatever? But man, he gave me an evil eye.
The wicked flee when no man pursues.
Yeah, the wicked flee when no man pursues. So anyway, So just recently, I was just talking because I'm learning about the Spanish and the Israelites and the Spanish Inquisition. So anyway, I said next time I see him, I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna really like get in front of him and block him. Like, hey, listen to me, Ralph. Hey, Ralph, no, he's not that fast, right? So anyway, I walk in, see him, and then I kind of didn't go in right away because I wanted to finish his business. I came in and he literally walked around me. I can't talk. I'm not talking to you. I'm not just like boom. And I walked him all the way to the car.
It had to be at least 2 years removed.
Yeah.
Last time you saw him.
Yeah.
Still the same reaction.
Same reaction. Just been 5 years. Yeah.
Sounds like a guilty conscience.
Yeah. And he didn't want to talk to me. I said, Ralph, do you remember you said you hate black people? Boom, boom, boom. And he closed the door, left. And just, man, I just said the hate is real. That's all I'm saying.
He never recovered. Actually.
Yeah.
He never actually got healed from that.
And the church called Living Hope Church is broken people affecting change. So this is a Christian. This is a Christian deacon. He could be elder. No, they would never make him elder because you don't have that money like that. But anyway, but he's a deacon. I know he was a deacon last time, so I don't know if he still holds it. But anyway, I digress. But why did you tell me to bring that up? Oh, just talking about the many shall bound. Yeah, the love of many shall wax cold. So
exactly. And you've lived that. You've actually lived what the scripture is saying. And so,
yeah. So, guys, so here's the deal. Yah has given us a roadmap, okay? So if you are a father, now, if you're a son, this is good. If you're a son, this is good for you to see. If you're a daughter, this is good. But I'm speaking to the fathers, and this is good for all of us. We should all be proactive because the mistake that I'm seeing that a lot of men who are in my situation make is they try to be friends with their children. They try to do what the world tells them to do. They say, hey, well, just, yeah, he's just a child, or, maybe, what are you gonna say?
Consider their feelings.
Yeah, consider their feelings and all this. Some of it's true, but how far do we go? How far? Because even Yah came after his people. He came back for his people, but Yah didn't get to the point where he gave up his preeminence. Yah is still preeminent.
Yeah.
He did not acquiesce. He did not capitulate to get us to come to be a part of his family. He gave us a pathway, and it's hard. The pathway he gives you is hard. I'm a living example. At least I can speak for myself, but it was very hard for me to come to the kingdom, to be a part of the kingdom. He says, seek first his kingdom and his righteousness. And I had to give up a lot. Matter of fact, go up. I'm going to show you what you have to give up to be in Yah's family, right? It's not like what Christianity say, oh, you come here, it's going to be all good and stuff. He says, you're going to have to forsake all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find this here. Hold on here. Go to Luke.
Luke, okay.
Yeah.
Luke, what?
Go to Luke 14:26. Luke 14:26. And so I'm looking at how Yah deals with us. So I always go there because I'm a father too. And now I'm experiencing things that Yah has already experienced. And now I can go to a perfect example. If you want a perfect example on how to relate to your children in certain dynamics, go to the book. Mm-hmm. Yeshua is literally going to show. So I'm going to show you right here what he says here in verse 20. We can start at 25. Read.
And there went great multitude with him, and he turned and said unto them, if any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple.
Okay, stop. So guys, he says it right there. If any man, right? If any man come to me and hate not his father, his mother, and you see all these are all close relationship that we have with people. You cannot be his disciples. What does that hate mean? It doesn't mean, oh, hate them. He said, there's a saying, and I don't know exactly where it is in here, but he says you can't serve two masters. Either you're going to love one and hate the other.
Right. And when you look behind that word hate is love less, right?
Yeah, love less. It just means that it doesn't mean I don't love my father. I love my father, but if I had to choose between my father and in ways in Yahweh, I'm going to choose Yahweh.
Who are you going to love more?
Exactly. Yeah. Jesus was in that situation. I mean, he went to go to the temple, and he was, I think, I don't know where exactly where Jesus was at the time, so don't quote me on that. But the point is, people were saying, Jesus, your mother, your brother, you're sitting there outside, they're calling for you. And Jesus says, whoever does the will of my father is my mother, my brother, and my sister. So he put
the father.
His father's will over every relationship.
Facts.
And so Yeshua came down here to be an example, to show us what that looks like, right? He says to have a relationship with him, you have to be willing to hate this. You have to be able to hate all these people to have a relationship with him. And this is how Yah tests us to know if we love him or not. This is how we know. And guys, to go through that process is a humbling state. Man, I can tell you right now, I'm a big man, to 270 something pounds, 80 pounds, play ball. And I'm telling you, I was crying like a baby when I became a disciple of Yeshua. I truly became a disciple of Yeshua. I thought I did when I did it in Christianity, but I truly became his disciple when he tested me. And part of that was losing my wife, losing my children, all 8 of them. I really knew 7, but I never met my 8th one. Losing the opportunity to even see my 8th baby, my 7th son at the time, but my 8th baby. I've never missed one single delivery. Now I have one under my belt. I have one I've never met, and all I had to do is forsake Yeshua. All I had to do is stop keeping the commandments of the Most High Yah. If I would have stopped keeping the Shabbat, maybe I don't put any faith in that, but maybe I would have saw my family. But I chose to follow Yeshua.
Yeah, Joseph in the back there.
Oh yeah, hey, Joseph. So I chose to follow Yeshua.
Hallelujah. Yeah.
You see my son back there?
Yeah,
man. Anyway, so why did I say all this stuff? So guys, as a father, and if you guys have come into this truth, because I know a lot of you guys email me, you hit me up on YouTube, you hit me up through the emails or whatever ways you guys know how to get a hold of me, and you guys are in these predicaments. And so I want to show you biblically how you can restore your children in a biblical way, in a righteous way. And the reason why I'm motivated to do it this way, because I've seen how the world does it. When the world does it, it sets the children to be rejected by the Most High Yah. Now, they may have a relationship with their children, but now the children can't have a relationship with the Most High Yah because he doesn't operate the way the man has it. So just because I lowered the standard, so like, for example, I'll give you an example, like with the head covering, right? It says that go to 1 Corinthians 11.
Yes, Elder.
Go to 1 Corinthians 11, chapter 2. Chapter 11, verse 2. Sorry. I want to show you something here. So I'm a husband, right? And I remember this specific question. I am a husband, right? And I hear husbands doing this even in Israel. In Israel, I've heard husbands talk this way, right? So it says, now I praise thee. Read that.
Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember in all things and keep the ordinances, as I delivered them unto you.
Okay.
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
Okay, the head of every man is Messiah. Read.
And the head of the woman is the man.
So the woman head is the man. Obviously, it's going to be either a father in this case or a husband. Read.
And the head of Christ is Elohim.
Okay. So even Yeshua has a head, which is his father. Read.
Every man praying or prophesying having his head covered dishonoreth his head.
Okay, listen. So if I have my head covered and I pray, the book says that I am dishonoring my head. Is that what it says on there? If I'm praying or prophesying and I have my head covered, it says I'm dishonoring my head. Deacon, do you want to dishonor your head?
Never.
Who's your head?
Yeshua.
Yeshua. I don't want to dishonor. I love him. I would never want to dishonor him. So when I pray, I want to prophesy, the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove anything that's on my head because I don't want to, because I know I represent him and I don't want to dishonor him. All right, let's keep reading. Verse 5.
But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head.
Right there. What does it say? So, but if a woman who prays or prophesies with her head uncovered, she dishonors her head. For that is what?
Even all one as if she were shorn or shaven.
She's shorn. So I remember my ex-wife at this time. This is what she said. She said, do you feel dishonored? Now, I'm just coming new into this stuff. I said, well, it doesn't matter how I feel. The book says that if you do this, you are dishonoring me. It doesn't matter how I feel. So I'm trying to connect, because now it would bother me. But at that very time, it didn't bother. And I could have said, well, it doesn't bother me. I could have lowered the standard. And said, yeah, it doesn't bother me. I mean, that's what Paul's saying, or that's what they did back then, or whatever excuse they had back then. I could have lowered the standard. But here's the problem. For me to lower the standard is to be walking in disobedience as a man.
Yeah.
So just because it doesn't bother me, the point is, Yah has a standard of how we need to do things. Because I am, and when you keep reading, it says, because, keep reading. I'm going to show you why. See, people think like, well, since it doesn't bother me, it's okay for me to lower the standard. Honey, you don't have to, you can preach, you can pray without your head uncovered because it doesn't bother me. Well, it's not about what it bothers me. How about Yah?
Exactly.
Does that make sense? If you guys
sense.
are following me and this makes sense, please give me a 7. Everybody give me a 7 if you guys are following me on this. If this makes sense. I don't want to be going over your head, because I may be going and you may miss it. So you gotta be like give me undivided attention here.
It reminds me of a proverb or a story, if you want to call it. There was a violin player, Elder. He made this great, show for everybody. He was in front of a lot of people, and everybody was clapping. Wow, it was amazing, right? He went back behind the curtain. He was sad, and then someone asked him, "What's going on? Why are you sad?" It's like, "Well, my teacher, who was in the front row, is the only one who didn't clap."
Wow.
But everybody else encouraged him. But his teacher, he knew he messed up on something. And so what did that show? Is like, okay, everybody was pleased, but the one that needed the most approval was the one who taught him.
That's it.
Know? And so
he was performing for an audience of one.
Come on.
So that's how I look at life. It's not about making. I don't care about what everybody thinks. At the end of the day, I was created for Yah. Yeah. The whole duty of man is to fear Yah and keep His commandments. And just this illustration that Deacon just gave is a perfect illustration on how each and every one of us needs to live our life. We need to live our life as if we living our life for the audience of one, and that's the Most High Yah.
Most High Yah, exactly.
So look at this. So if I want to lower the standard of, hey, it doesn't bother me if you want to cover your head, but the point is, there's a standard here. And so read what it says right here in verse 7. For
a man indeed ought not to cover.
Actually, read 6.
I'm going to read 6 because that's
yeah, just to get context.
For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered.
So it's not saying women just having long hair. No, that's not what it's saying.
Yeah.
It's literally saying that when you pray or prophesy, you need to cover your head. If you don't, it is shameful. It didn't say if your husband feels shame, it is shameful. So other people may see like, wow, that's your wife up there. Just like that video we saw where that guy, I think Pastor put on his YouTube, Facebook, where the woman's on stage. I'm talking about freaking with another man. And the husband came on the stage and told her to get off the stage. And the security came and escorted him off the stage. Then she came down to the where the audience were, and he told her, "What are you doing up there?" And then all of a sudden, security comes in to protect the wicked woman and kick the man out of the club or whatever the place concert they was in.
Whatever, yeah.
And then they're throwing things at him, throwing all types of stuff. And this is the husband. This woman, what she was doing, shameful.
It's property.
His property. And people's looking like, hey, it shouldn't bother you. It's not a big deal. But that's his wife. That's his woman.
That's his right. Yeah.
So, but now I want to show you here what it says here. For man, what?
For a man indeed ought not to cover his head.
Okay, why? It says for indeed. So why shouldn't a man not cover his head? Please explain why.
For as much as he is the image and glory of Elohim.
Okay, okay, that's a game changer right there. See, now I feel shame. Now I understand that when she's doing that, that is an attack on the image of the glory of Yah. See, it's not about me; it's about him. So yes, you're going to cover your head when you pray and prophesy because I represent the image and glory of Yah. And I'm not going to dishonor my head, and I'm not going to allow you to dishonor me because in the end, you're going to be dishonoring Yah. Are you seeing that?
That's good, Elder. Come on.
Keep reading. It says, for what? But
for the man is not of the woman.
No. Read that. But
the woman is the glory of the man.
See, the woman is the glory of the man. See, the woman is not creating the image, and this irritates Christianity. It eats them up. Women are not equal to man. Women are not creating the image and glory of Yah. They're creating the glory of man. They came out of man.
That's right. Yep.
So that's why a woman needs to cover, because there's a difference between a man and a woman. A man do not cover when he prays because he is the image and glory of Yah, and the woman must cover because she is the glory of man. So yes, you are going to cover, and I'm going to rule my house well. It doesn't matter how I feel. All I know is you're not going to dishonor Yah, not in my house. And as long as you're my woman, you're going to cover your head.
I think that's why that doctrine is so important, Elder, about the image of Yah, because if the woman would understand that, how much more reverence would she give the man?
I don't know. I don't know, Deacon. I don't know if it really matters to women sometimes.
I mean, maybe it doesn't, but it should. I mean,
it should. But you know something? I'll put it back on the men, because I think if men understood who they were, they wouldn't allow that.
Tell the story, Elder, about what happened when you were doing your teachings on Saturday, and that topic came up.
I remember I was doing this stuff with my children before I came into the truth, and we were using this book, this curriculum. That's what it was. It was a curriculum from
Answering Genesis.
Answering Genesis. There's a ministry called Answering Genesis. They're the one that built the Ark Encounter in Kentucky, a big ark. They have a museum called the Creation Museum. Anyway, I bought their 3-year curriculum. And anyway, in the book, because you're using the Bible, but they're referencing the Bible, but you know Christianity, but I'm just telling you the story. So anyway, in there, I always pre-read what I was going to teach my children. So we used to do a 3 or 4 hour Bible study. So I was kind of in a way keeping the Sabbath, not as proper, not like me, because I bought donuts and things of that nature, but we were keeping the Shabbat. I mean,
we're keeping it, just not keeping it holy.
Yeah, it wasn't keeping it holy, not as far, but I was trying to do that. So anyway, there was something in there in the reading that was talking about the Bible, and it mentioned something that men and women are both creating the image of God. And I knew that my wife at the time had an issue with that, and I brought her aside and said, hey, I know you have your opinion on this stuff, but follow my lead. We're sticking to the book, okay? This is not the time to have the discussion in front of the children. And so anyway, we went in there, and what I would do is when my children would see something that I always would usually say, hey guys, you guys missed something, filter everything through the word. So just because some book is before you, even the Bible itself, don't just take it, go look behind the words. Always filter and making sure that we know that it's the truth. So in here, the book says men and women are both creating the image of God. And I said, guys, that's an error. These people are wrong. And so then we go back to the book, and then that's when my ex-wife at the time just wanted to use that opportunity to see, look, at even the children can see it. In front of the children. Shame, speaking. See, she remained silent, but instead she spoke up and caused confusion. That Bible study came to an end, the screeching halt.
She uncovered herself. Dishonored.
But in Christianity, it is perfectly fine for a woman to dishonor her husband in front of their children. It's perfectly fine for a woman to be dishonorable in Christianity. Yeah. Why? Because Christianity is a matriarch religion. There's nothing biblical about Christianity. I am not a Christian. I was once professing Christian, but I am not a Christian. I am a follower of Yeshua HaMashiach.
Hallelujah.
So
You're no longer a Roman Catholic.
I am not a Roman Catholic. I used to practice Roman because I went from Islam to Roman Catholicism.
Let's be honest.
You think you're a Protestant, you still practicing the doctrines of the Roman Catholic Church.
Yeah, of your mother.
If you rest on the Sabbath day, that comes from the Roman Catholic Church.
That's first day. The first day.
First day. Yeah. Sunday, you are a sun worshiper.
Come on.
Sun worshiper. Okay. So anyway, I tell the story. That's
yeah. I mean, it was just in line with the image of Yah. That's why it's so important for you, and that's why you said you felt it didn't matter how you felt about if you were being dishonored, but when it came to it dishonors the Yah, then that's when you felt a way about it, right?
Yeah. And so that's why when you said if women knew this, I will even push it back. If men knew who they were,
sure.
We men are creating the image of glory in Yah, and you gotta understand who you are.
Yeah.
It's like even when in the movie with Simba, he says, "You've forgotten who you are. You are a son of a king."
Remember.
Yeah, Simba. Remember. And so we and that's why the command, remember the Sabbath, remember this, remember this. If we know who we are, if I now know that I am a express image and glory of the Most High Yah, then I need to walk a certain way. I need to make sure that in the context of I'm in, especially in my own house, I can't let my children disrespect me. And it has nothing to do if I feel disrespect or not. The point is you're disrespecting the image and glory of Yah.
Come on.
So I'm not going to go off, well, I want to be a cool dad. No, I'm not trying to be a cool dad. I want to be a righteous dad.
Come on, Elder.
Because I'm not trying to follow the crowd. I'm not trying to get a whole bunch of applause. I'm just trying to perform from one out of many.
Yep.
The audience of one.
Come on.
And so when people are lowering their standards, you are participating in the disobedience of the Most High Yah.
That's it.
Does it not say in the fourth and the fifth commandment, and this comes with a promise to honor your father and mother? I won't even let my seed dishonor their mother. Why? It didn't bother me when they dishonor her, but you know why it bothered me? Because that's my wife.
And she represents you.
And she represents me. And the book says honor your father and mother.
She's your glory.
Yeah. And a woman should naturally not allow children to dishonor their father. But don't talk about American culture. Don't talk about divorce court, because you got at least 70%, 80% of all marriages filed filed by women. They literally lead the way when it comes to dishonoring the father.
Oh, yeah.
Leading the way. And they're supported by the Christian church.
Mm-hmm.
They're supported. So, what am I saying here? You cannot lower the standard just based off of how you feel. You need to uphold the standard that Yah has set forth before us.
You gotta honor that office.
That's it. You got to honor all. When I became an elder, didn't I make some changes, Deacon?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was already kind of operating that way. Not that I thought I was going to be an elder, but I don't fraternize with the guys.
True.
I have to keep a certain distance because of love for them, because I don't want them to dishonor the office of eldership.
Come on.
Because I love them. So I don't want to become so common that they just talk to me anyhow. And it's lonely. But it must be done so that they can live a righteous life and be blessed. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense, Elder. Yep.
So now we can let's go to the slide here. So it's inevitable, guys, that, the chicken coming back to roost. Your seed, if you've lost seeds, even if they don't want to be in your, and 90% of the time, it's just a high percentage. There's a good chance they're not going to come. They're not coming back to be a part of your religion or to be a part of your faith. I'm just going to be honest. And just
to recap, if people are kind of coming in and didn't see the previous live show, just from last live stream, you can see the link in the description. Elder went over the most ideal situation and how to honor your father and give respect to honoring your father and your mother. And so this week, Elder is really going to emphasize, and let's say that there's a situation where you're in an estranged situation where you've been estranged from your father, and father being estranged from the children, vice versa, right? And this is what Elder's going to be going into this live stream is how does it look to properly restore that relationship biblically with your children? And also, obviously, he's going to come from the father perspective. But if you're a child and you have your father, then this will also give you some insight and help you out.
So let's go to the first slide, Malachi. It says, read.
Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Most High. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse.
So when your children come back, I mean, it's heartbreaking, you know, when they're not the way you brought them in. You brought them to the world. You had plans for their future, and now they're, for some reason, something comes in and just discombobulate that whole plan that you had for them, and then they come back. Your heart is going to be constituted to want to receive them, but you can't just receive them anyhow. And this is the trap that I see many men fall into when their children come back. Yeah. And they have different reasons. Some people are just bad fathers. They said it, you know, I wasn't there. I wasn't responsible. I was drinking too much. I was partying. I was whoring, you know, they have, you know, and so, you know, they understand that they need to keep a standard, but at the same time, some people don't, this is their only child. So they feel a little bit like, man, this is my only child. And this is my only son, or, you know, whatever the case is. And so they compromise the standard because of, you know, this is the only one, you know? And so they end up becoming friends. They end up doing whatever it takes. They end up acquiescing, capitulating, and jumping through all types of hoops in hopes to get the relationship. And what they do is, as they try to draw near to their children, what they don't know, they realize they're doing is their preeminence is fading as well too. And the children, because now the children say, I am the prize. I am the one. He needs me more than I need him. He needs my validation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like that one verse that Yeshua talks about, and he's rebuking the Pharisees, and they said that the children are saying, you're blessed through us, and it should be the other way around, right?
Exactly. So understand they're going to come back. So I'm going to show you how we as fathers properly restore them. And here's why it's important, guys, because if I lowered that standard, and now if I'm assuming every father who's in the truth want their seed to make it to the kingdom, right?
Right.
I'm assuming, Deacon, you want your seed to make it to the kingdom. I want mine, right? And I want to give them every fighting chance, even in a situation that seems impossible, because like my children, they're really messed up. You know, mom and dad is not talking anymore. The family is divided. People think that, I mean, heck, and I'm the world would say I'm in a cult. I'm crazy, whatever. I'm a crackpot. Who knows what they're saying? Who knows what my children believes about me? But the point is, they're divided. And the book says that when the mother and father are divided, the children are unclean. But if they stay together, now they're holy. So you can't stop it. If the parents are divided, the children are going to have an unclean effect. They will be unclean.
Be double-minded. Yeah.
They're going to be double-minded. They're not going to act properly. They're going to be very disrespectful when they approach you. I mean, it's like you want to spit them out of your mouth the way they approach you.
It's contrary to the structure that Yah set up from the beginning. It's not Yah's way.
It's back ass backwards. You know, they think that you owe them something. You think that they owe you something, but they don't think that. You know, they've been put things in their ears about their father or whatever. I'm just telling you guys, it's
the truth. Huh?
It's unclean. Matter of fact, before we go to that, I just want to show you this 1 Corinthians. We can go here real quick. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. I believe it's verse 10. 1 Corinthians, if you can.
Chapter 7, you said?
Yes, chapter 7. I think it's verse 10. And to me, go to verse 10. And read that real quick.
And then to the married I command, yet not I, but the Most High, let not the wife depart from her husband. And if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife.
Okay, so say don't separate. Okay, read.
But the rest I speak, or speak I, not the Most High.
Now, Paul speaking.
If any brother hath a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away.
So if you got a woman that doesn't believe, but she wants to dwell with you, don't put her away. Be patient. This is mercy. Go.
And the woman which hath a husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him.
Same thing. It could be the other way. You may be the woman may be the believer, and the husband don't leave him. Stay with him. He wants to dwell with you. Read.
For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife.
Wow. Hallelujah.
And the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband.
Now here's the part. Read elsewhere.
Elsewhere your children unclean.
So if the parents separate, the children are unclean. But if they stay together, they're what?
But now are they holy.
Holy. So that's where I got the front right there. They're unclean. And it is true, guys. And that's why a lot of these children that come from divorce home, they need a lot of mental help. There's a lot of people, especially in our generation, with the divorce rate in this country. There's going to be and there's a lot of children, a lot of sons and daughters out there that are impacted by the decisions of their mother and their father and mother. But it's the moms breaking up a lot of these homes. 80% of these homes are being destroyed by women.
Yeah,
foolish women. Where did I get this from? It says a wise woman builds her house, but a foolish woman plucks it down with her own hands.
come on,
literally with her own hands.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go to the next verse here. Next slide. 2 Chronicles 7:14. So, guys, here's everything is concrete. Let's make it concrete, okay? Yah is a father. He describes himself as a father. So I'm looking at this, okay, I'm going to go to the most perfect father that I can think of. There's only one that's perfect father, and that's Yah himself. And I'm going to see how he deals with children who's left him. How does he restore them? Let's read.
If my people, which are called by my name.
So I have sons. I can honestly say I have sons of Kabir, children of Kabir, right? So I have people who are called by my name. I mean, you go to them. Who's your father? Who's your father? They carry my last name, just like I carry my father's last name. But really, back in the day, they didn't have last names. That's the family name. They really was the son of Kabir.
Come on.
So because they do all this first last name legalese, we lose our whole heritage. But usually, people was the son of Joseph, the son of this, or you're from the house of this. It would be really my name is Kabir, the son of Mustafa. That's how they used to say. I'm the son of Mustafa. Oh, okay. So these children who are no longer with me are sons of Kabir.
I think in some Middle Eastern countries, I'm using Middle Eastern now, but
Johnson.
Yeah, they usually
John.
Don't they usually put the father's, maybe it's Arabic or Muslim tradition, but they put the father's first name in the as the middle name for the son.
Yeah, maybe. That's a good. Okay, just so they know which father they came from.
Exactly.
That's a good one. Wow. Okay. But that's how it was. So I can say if my children who are called by my name, okay, read.
Shall humble themselves.
So this is what you should be looking for
to
see a biblical way of restoring your children properly. They need to come to you humbly.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's going to be very hard for this generation of children that's in this situation. It's going to be very hard because of the way the society have taught them how to think. They have no regard for honor. They will treat their father worse than a dog, than they would their own friend or something like that. But they shall humble themselves. So that's what I'm looking for when my children come in, that they humble themselves.
That's the first step.
That's the first step. Humble. That's it. Humility. But this is what Yah requires, right? So if Yah is requiring this of us, then this is what I should require of my children, not based on, well, they don't have to humble themselves. I just want to be cool. I'll go to his turf or whatever. No, I'm a father. I'm creating the image and glory of Yah. So if Yah requires this of his children, then why would I try to do something different than what my Heavenly Father is doing? Shouldn't I be following his example?
Yep.
He's giving me an example. He set an example before me. So I'm going to use the same thing too. Read.
And pray.
And pray.
and seek my face.
And seek my face. So it's not for me to go run around chasing my children and begging them, hey, please, chasing them and no, they need to be seeking my face. If they're not seeking my face, I have nothing to do with them. But if they seek my face, okay, I'm watching. You're reaching out to me. Okay. Let's see how we're going to handle this stuff. What's your spirit? Are you coming from the spirit of pride? Or are you coming in the spirit of humility? You sought me. Okay. Let's read.
And turn from their wicked ways.
Are they going to turn from their wicked ways, their rebellious ways? See, some people may have a gay son or a homosexual practicing that. And they say, well, they will go and accept all of their ways, even though it's dishonoring. And they'll even bring down and say, well, it's not a big deal anymore. The most important thing is having a relationship with you. But you're now participating in the disobedience of the Most High Yah. When you lowered the standard, because you're based off of how I feel. Well, it's not a big deal to me. I was only doing it because God said so, or because the church taught this, but it's not a big deal to me. So I'm still gonna have a relationship with you in spite of what the church says, or in spite of what the Bible says. It's not a big deal to me. Are you guys seeing the problem here?
Come on, Elder.
So he says, turn from your wicked ways. Read.
Then will I hear from heaven.
So Yah won't even hear until we do these steps, until we humble ourselves, pray, seek his face, turn from our wicked ways. Then and only then will he hear from heaven.
And will forgive their sin and will heal their land.
This is a proper way of truly restoring your children in a proper way. This is how you can heal the relationship. They have to go through this step. Before I came into the troop, I had to go through this step. I had to humble myself. I had to pray. I had to seek his face. I had to turn from my wicked ways. I wasn't keeping the Shabbat. Now I'm keeping the Shabbat. Then he heard from heaven and he forgave me of my sins. And now I'm healed. And now I'm walking in the newness of life. I have a peace that passes all understanding. I have found the kingdom. I have found his righteous law.
Praise Yah.
And so, and a lot of that is because of how my dad reared me up. And because he reared me up in such a way, it put me in a position that now when my heavenly Father calls out to me, that I'm able to approach him properly. Does that make sense?
It makes a whole lot of
sense. He made it easier for me. It still was hard. It still was hard as hell. But I had to be humble.
You walked it out in faith.
I had to walk it out. But my dad, because of how he handled me as a little boy, grew up in his house, because of how he handled me, he literally said, and my dad is not necessarily a professing Israelite or whatever. For now, I know him, he's here. I'm sanctifying because he lives with me. But the way my dad reared me up from the Nigerian culture, that's the culture he had. And it was totally different from the American culture that I was surrounded by. But I couldn't talk to my dad the way my friends talk to their dad. I couldn't do the things that my friends did. It was totally different. We used to call our house the jail because our dad didn't let us go out. He was very protective, very disciplinary and everything.
Yeah, same thing here. Yep.
But my dad put me in a position to succeed with my heavenly Father. Now, some people can do it without all that. I'm just telling you, I credit my dad rearing me up that put me in a good position to be able to not be rejected by the Most High Yah.
Hallelujah.
Because I've had that training of humbling myself. I had that training of submitting myself to my Father, reverencing him, fearing him when I did something wrong. So all I do, you just transfer it over to Yah now. All right, let's go to the next one. Here's another example. 1 Peter 5:5. Read.
Likewise, ye younger, submit yourself unto the elder.
Okay.
Yea, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed with humility. For Yah resisteth the proud and giveth grace to the humble.
So you look at this. So what do you do when your children come to you? If they're coming to you prideful, do you accept them or do you resist them? Well, let's see Yah's example. Yah's example is he said he resists the proud. So if Yah's going to resist the proud, then guess what I should do? Resist the proud.
Exactly.
If my son comes to me in a humble way or my children come to me in a humble way, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to give them grace. And then this is what Christians will say. You know what Christians will say? Well, you're not God. Well, I'm his father. I'm his creator. Isn't a father the creator of his children?
You're the image of Yah for him. Yeah, exactly.
I want you. We got 37 people here. Hit the like button if you guys like what you're hearing. Subscribe if you haven't, if you're new here. But I want you guys to answer. If you believe that the father, I'm talking about a human father, if you believe that a earthly father is the creator of his children, type in A. And if you believe he is not the creator of his children, type in B. I'm going to give you some time. While you guys are putting that in, I'm going to go use the restroom here. You can talk, Deacon. All right. Deacon, you get any B's?
No B's so far.
No B's, man. We got some righteous audience. Hallelujah. We got some. So there you have it. So as a father, you are a creator. Matter of fact, there's a passage in the Bible. It's actually in 1 John. Can you just go to 1 John? Man, I tell you, it's just, I'm so thankful that I came into this truth because the Bible has just come alive. I've read the Bible 8 times, and I've never, since being in this truth, outside, has never had the Bible be this rich when you just see things that I didn't see before. Just like that when I was watching Lion King, when I told you, like, man, I saw an aspect of the movie I never even knew it was there. I've seen the movie hundreds of times, and I see it this one time as a father, and I'm seeing things I didn't even see the 100th time when I was a little boy watching the movie. And that's what it feels like when you're reading this word. Go to John, John chapter 1. Now this is John talking about Yeshua. Read.
In the beginning was the Word,
Mm.
and the Word was with Yah,
Mm-hmm.
and the Word was Yah. The same was in the beginning with Yah. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made.
Stop. See, look what it says right there. It says all things were made by him. See, I used to say, what's that mean? But now I can visualize that. All things that were made was made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. And I was thinking to myself, I was just wondering. I said, if I wasn't here, if I wasn't here, would my sons and daughters be here, Deacon? And what did you say?
Nope.
No. This house wouldn't be here. Everything that I've ever put my hands on, everything that Yah blessed me with through work, through football, through all the stuff came through me. It wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me.
Exactly.
But to be honest with you, but if my dad wasn't here, none of this stuff would be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can keep going back, you realize, like, wow, I literally wouldn't exist if my father wasn't alive. So right there, I mean, my dad is my creator. Everything. And so guess what? Isn't that amazing how Yah, so you get a woman and you add her to your family, right? And you ask her to help you to build your house. And everything comes through. People say, well, that baby came from her. No, it didn't, because every 30 days, every cycle, guess what? She produces death. And it's not until the man plants his seed into her that life comes out of that woman's womb.
Come on, Elder.
And so all these things are coming out from the man. Like he's the man is the vine. The woman is the branch. If she abides in him, he will abide in her, and she will bear fruit. The man is the vine in the house. Yeah. Just like Yeshua described himself as the vine and his father is the husbandman.
Yep. She's just a conduit.
Yes. And so everything flows. And so everything that comes out of this man belongs to that man because it was made for that man.
I'm from my father by way of my mother.
Yes. Yes. I am from my father. I am from my father by way of my mother. Exactly.
Yep.
And so Yah does that. And so that's how man gets the authority, is because it came from him. So that's why now people will freak out. I wouldn't say that Deacon is my property. I wouldn't call any of his seeds my property, but I can say that my children, my sons and daughter are my property.
That's huge, man.
They're my biological property. You say, whoa, people are going crazy. Okay, what do they call a musician when he sings the music? Let's say I'm going in and I'm singing, and I can't sing worth of shit, but let's say I'm singing, boom, 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 and I come up with this nice beat. Can anybody just take my music and go play it and make money off of it?
Nope.
No.
That's your intellectual property.
That's my intellectual property.
Come on, Elder.
They say it that way. Why? Because you were in my studio. So because I was in your studio, then I rented your studio to be able to produce my music. And now you're telling me just because I made this amazing music in your studio, now you have the right to go sell it and make money off of it? No, I don't think so.
You got to pay me.
You got to pay me. That's my intellectual property.
Fair use, yeah.
It's the same thing. Just because I get me a woman, the studio, and now I make my music, my seed, my child, my son, my daughter in your studio, does not make that your seed. That's why we can honestly say the children belongs to the father. It does not belong to the mother. But in the country, they honor the studio and not the creator of the music.
Let me ask you a question, Elder.
Yes.
We're not sponsored or anything like this, but if you put a quarter in a soda machine and a Pepsi comes out, does that Pepsi belong to the person who put the quarter in or the machine?
It belongs to the person who put the quarter in. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Imagine you put a quarter in and then your Pepsi comes out and all of a sudden there's a cage on there. You can't get to the Pepsi. You would say that's messed up. Well, that's the way it works in America. That's child support right there. Exactly. That's how child support works. You put the money in, it comes out, but you can't touch it. Can't touch it. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway.
And I know people get triggered when you talk about property, all that stuff, but I think it's so important. I think it's so important to understand ownership, because I think it would change the way that people respond to their heads. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these people think, especially these women, unfortunately, in this legal society, they believe that their owner is the government. And so they can talk to their man any kind of way because they're going to run back to their pimp daddy, the government.
Yeah. Yep. And so when you say property, it's the proper thing. It just means it belongs to that person. It doesn't mean that's why if I was to walk on another man's property, what do they call that?
Trespassing.
Trespass. That's why if you lay with another man's wife, they call it wife, but another man's woman, it's called adultery. That's a form of trespass.
Exactly.
Give me of my trespass.
Trespass against who?
Yeah, exactly. Who are you trespassing against? You're trespassing against that man's husband. Exactly. That woman's husband, I mean.
Come on.
If you steal, you're trespassing against whoever owns that property.
Your brother, yeah, exactly.
That's a trespass. You covet your neighbor's house, meaning his children. You cover his wife, his male servants, his female servants, his ox, his donkey. Property. Whatsoever belong to your neighbor. That's property.
That's it.
The wife is in there. The children is in there. The male servant, the female servant, the ox, the donkey. Whatsoever belongs to your neighbor. So it's whatever belongs to me. The sons of Kabir.
That's it.
They belong to me. But in this country, they don't mind coveting. They will do that all day long. So that's why they trespass all day long, because they're lawless. They practice iniquity. And because iniquities abound, the hearts of many are cold. Mm-hmm. That's why when you meet a Christian, they're cold. They'll smile. They'll put on all this smoking, but they're cold. They're wicked because they don't know they're trespassing.
They smile in your face and talk behind your back.
They say, I got your son because the woman said she has rights and the court says it. So, but whose son is that? Does it belong to the court or does it belong to me?
Exactly. It's like these neighbors. We see these neighbors when we drive by and wave at them, but they're the very ones that are calling the cops on us.
Exactly.
Making concerns.
Exactly. That's why I stay here.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's keep going here. So right here, so it needs to be humble. So as fathers, you need to be looking for this to see if you're restoring them properly. And we're going to show you guys some examples of people who has not followed the examples of the Most High Yah, and you're going to see the results on how the children treats them.
Yeah, it's unprofitable.
It's unprofitable. Let's go to the next slide. James chapter 4, verse 6 to 10. Read.
But he giveth more grace, wherefore he saith, Yah resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble.
See, look it. See, people say, show your children grace. Show them grace. Be gracious. Be gracious. Well, I will give grace the more so when they give what? Humility, when they show humility.
That's it.
You can't show grace when somebody is in their pride. It's impossible. It says, Yah resist the proud, but give grace to who? The humble. Now, I know Yah was very gracious to me, but I was humble.
Hallelujah.
Read.
Submit yourself, therefore, to Yah. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw nigh to Elohim.
See, look what it says. It didn't say draw nigh to Yah will draw nigh to you. It says you draw nigh to Yah.
Yep.
So guess what? When your children draw nigh to you, naturally you're going to want to draw nigh to them.
And humility, yeah.
But a lot of people are drawing nigh to their children, and then their children dictating when and how they can meet.
Nope.
You meet me here, there, do this, jump through this hoop, jump through this, like you some type of circus monkey.
Come on.
And then you wonder why they can't respect you, because they say, man, I can get my dad to do whatever I want because my dad wants to have a relationship with me.
That's
my
right.
dad draw nice to me, so now it's up to me if I want to draw nigh to him. And people don't even know that there's something that you and guys, I'm going to show you there's a delicate balance, because the way these children are thinking, you got to find a way to give them an olive branch without forsaking your preeminence.
Yeah, without diminishing your role.
Without diminishing your role. And that is a slippery slope.
That's an art.
That is an art. You got to have a team of people to put some stuff together and really seek counsel on how to move. But a lot of people don't even think like this, guys. They don't. At the end of the day, guys, I'm just trying to please Yah. That's all I care about. I don't know if I do it Yah's way, it's going to necessarily make my children, but I want to give them the fight. I want to give them the best chance to be right with the Most High Yah. And I need to be in my role. I need to perform my role the way the Father has given me an example on how to do that.
That's it, Elder. Yep.
Because if you ask me, I don't care. Okay, if they want to come, as long as I get to see him. But no, I'm creating the image of Yah. I need to protect the office of fatherhood.
Come on, Elder. That's it.
Because he created it. He's a heavenly Father, and I'm his representation here on earth to my sons and daughters. Read.
Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to heaviness. Humble yourself in the sight of Elohim, and he shall lift you up.
And this is what we should be doing. When our children humble themselves now, and I don't have to even tell you this, it will be natural for you guys to want to lift them up. Because you're the Father. That's all you want. You just want them to be humble so you can restore them properly. But the world don't care. They'll say, go chase them. Show them that you love them. Go do all this stuff because they don't give a damn about your children.
You know, it's crazy. It's literally the opposite of what Yah requires, right? What do they tell us in Christianity? You know, if you love him enough, he can't help but to love you. But really, it's the other way, right? If you love Yah, he can't help but to accept you.
Exactly.
It's the opposite.
A contrite, broken spirit.
Yeah. Yah will not oppose.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't turn that down. He's like, whoa.
Come on.
And I'm talking about genuine.
Genuine.
Yah's way is higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. Yep. Say it, yeah.
Hallelujah.
So I'm trying to take the high road. All I'm trying to do is I want to do it Yah's way. And that's why I'm challenging all you brothers out there who has children, who's went away or lost them, been alienated. I get it. It sucks. But I experienced that stuff. But if they ever come back, let's hold that standard. And every situation is unique and different, but be mindful of your preeminence when you're dealing with your children.
That's good.
Go to the next one, slide. Okay, this is Sirach 16, 1-3. Here, this was all about right here, because if you do it the wrong way, guess what? Your children are going to be unprofitable. Read.
Yep. Desire not a multitude of unprofitable children.
See, I don't want unprofitable children. Go to your garden right now, plant some seed, and pray for it to be unprofitable. Work your butt off. No one wants to know unprofitable. You want to plant something, you want to get something out of it. So desire not. I don't desire to have unprofitable children. Read.
Neither delight in ungodly sons.
So don't delight in them. How many people delight in their children who's transitioning from they were a son, now they're a daughter? You got people who are gay. You got people who are just living in rebellion. You got so many things going on, and people are delighting them because they're just happy that, I have a relationship with my son. He's my best buddy. Hey, buddy. Read.
Though they multiply, rejoice not in them, except the fear of the Most High be with them.
See, that's all I care. See, that's what I'm concerned about. I'm thinking, well, everybody's thinking about, well, we just want to see the parents, the father and son back together. But see, I'm thinking about, I want to make sure they fear Yah. Rejoice not in them, except the fear of Yah be with them. But how's it going to be with them if you lower the standard and they can treat you anyhow? Read.
Trust not thou in their life, neither respect their multitude. For one that is just is better than 1,000, and better it is to die without children than to have them that are ungodly.
So there you have it. I want godly seed. That's what I pray for each and every one of my children, to be godly. Now, unfortunately, it plays a lot. The women that you marry, whoo,
that makes a huge difference.
That makes a huge, because they're the frontline teachers.
What ground are you putting
you can be teaching this. You can be teaching stuff with your children. I did for 16 years teaching, but then behind me, I had somebody going right behind my back, undermining my authority, undermining my teachings.
You got to consider the ground.
Yeah. So consider the ground. The woman is like the ground. Consider the ground.
That's it.
All right. Let's go to the next slide. All right. So we're going to show you here in Luke chapter 15, 32 is a long one, but this is going to show you what it should look like. This is the ideal situation as a father to hold your ground. Okay. Because you can't keep your children, like Elder Rufus was saying, you don't try to, I'm not here to try to convince my children to be part of this ministry. I don't want that. I want them to choose to be a part of this ministry. I want them to choose to be with me. I don't want to force anybody against their will. What's the saying? Rumors says that people try to force people in straight way. We don't force people here. Not even our own seed. I don't force them.
It's actually easier. It's easier to
leave. Actually leave. We don't make you leave. The door is wide open. I'm not sitting here calling, hey, join this. You don't have to join. You don't have to be a part of my life. I'm in the kingdom. You in the world.
That's it.
It's just that simple. So it's not like, and you're going to see this father, how he was doing when they wanted to go, they wanted to go. So I'm going to let's read. Let me get my Bible out. Luke 15.
And he said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after,
so he divided and let them do what they want. He gave them. He's not going to hold. And then so that's what I'm trying to say. We don't hold our children against their will. They can go. Now this one decided to divide his living and go ahead and let them do what they want. Read.
And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country. And there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in the land, and he began to be in want.
So he had a lot of money, partying, doing his thing, doing all that stuff, right? And then he wasted it all, right? He spent it all. And this is what a lot of us don't realize that we have to do. We have to allow our children to hit rock bottom. Because if they have not hit rock bottom when they come to you, they're not going to be humble. Them hitting the rock bottom is what allows them to be humble. They can't just say, oh, I'm humble. I humbly ask to meet with you. No, trust me. When they hit rock bottom, they will be desperate. They will do whatever it takes to meet you. Just like that woman that was bleeding for all these years, she was bleeding. And she was desperate. She used her money, ran out of money, and she was desperate. She said, if I could just touch his cloak, I would be healed.
Come on.
See, that's what we need. We need to be humble. We need to be desperate. So this man is not going to listen. And even if he came to his dad when he had everything, he's not hearing his dad. He's not going to hear his dad until he hits rock bottom. So when your children are coming to you in a prideful state or coming to you in a disrespectful way, is because they have not hit rock bottom. That's what you need to discern. That's what you need to discern. Until they hit rock bottom, they're not going to be able to really, what does Mother Carol always say? Until they have a train wreck.
You gotta come humbly. Yep.
They're gonna naturally come humbly. You don't have to coach it. You don't have to tell them. They will naturally come to you in a humble state. But a lot of us don't want our children to suffer pain.
Yeah.
But it's in the suffering that they actually get their healing.
It's better to humble yourself before you fall into his hands.
Yeah.
Yep.
Read.
And he went and joined himself to a citizen of the country. And he sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that swine did eat. And no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and I will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee.
What does Yah require? Just acknowledge what you've done wrong. Didn't he tell Israel in Jeremiah?
Yep.
You know I can't be mad forever. Just acknowledge that you did wrong.
Come on.
I mean, it's like, as a father, we all as fathers want to restore our children because they come from us. We love them. Just acknowledge that you have sinned. See, this guy now got to the bottom. He's recognized his situation. He is desperate. And now he's saying to himself, man, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee. Read.
And am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants.
Man, he's hit rock bottom. He says, I'm not even worthy to be called thy son. See, that's humility right there. He said, I'm not even worthy. Just make me one of thy hired servants. Okay, that's how he's thinking. See, he's already proactively thinking. See, he's coming in a spirit of humility. He's not coming here saying, I'm entitled. Well, I'm entitled. Well, you brought me into the world or you did this. No, he's coming in saying, I'm not even worthy to be called son. Make me. He says, make me. He didn't just say, I'll be a servant. I'll be a servant. He says, Father, make me as one of the higher servants.
Wow.
So I can be close to you. He didn't tell him where to meet. I'm not. He says, make me one of thy higher servants. Read.
And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion.
You see, look at that. The father saw him way off into the distance as if he's been looking. He didn't go running after him. He didn't go chase him, but he was looking and he sees his son. And look what he says. And the father had compassion. What father wouldn't have compassion over his son? That's what I'm banking on, but I know there's outliers. I get it. I'm just talking about what's normal. I can relate to the book more than I can relate to the outliers or the unique situations. Had compassion. And look how this father responded when he saw his son afar off.
And ran and fell on his neck and kissed him.
Wow. He ran, fell on his neck, gave him a hug, and kissed him. That father's been praying for his son to come back home. And by the grace of Yah, he came back in a humble state. See, that make any father happy. So now he can properly restore him. But if he comes in his high horse and he thinks he's all that, it's going to be pretty tough to restore him because he's already up there. How can you restore somebody that thinks they're better than you? Thinks that you owe them something? Huh?
That's right.
Read.
And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his
Now
servant,
stop. So everything he was thinking of, everything he was reciting in his head, he actually did it. He performed it. He was able to get his mind right. Say that maybe this is how you entreat. He's entreating his father. Father, I'm not worthy to be called thy son. Please. He's acknowledging his sin. He's coming humbly. And look how the father responds. But the father said to his servants, what?
But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe.
Wow. Hey, bring the best robe. See, I know I can do that here. Shoot. What did he say?
And put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet, and bring hither the fatted calf.
Wow. They're
and
about to
kill
have
it.
a feast. It sounds like they're about to have a feast. Man.
And
Just because the son comes back. Look at this. The father, he didn't get no appointment. The son just showed up and came humble. And his father immediately threw a big party, threw a feast. Why is he throwing a big feast? Let's see, read.
And let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to be merry.
See, look at it. And that's what a lot of us guys, all our children have left us. They're dead. They're really dead. That's why being friend and lowering your standard, all you're doing is you're setting up your son to just be dead. He's just going to be in his deadness. Dead man walking. And I don't want to, how can you as a man that's in this truth want to be having seed who's unprofitable, who's dead? They're dead. I want them to be alive. I want them to make it to the kingdom. Is that wrong? Is that wrong for me as a father that I want all my children to make it to the kingdom, Deacon?
No, that's righteous.
Yeah. I didn't bring, and I was very intentional when I brought my children to the world. I wanted them all to make it. Now, is all of them going to make it? You know, I can say, but I know the gate to the kingdom is narrow and very few people find it, but the gate to at least the destruction is broad and many are going there.
As long as one righteous seed.
That's it.
That's it.
So right there, you can see right there that it's a dead man. That's why, what's the point of having friends? Oh, you're going to have a relationship with a dead son. Oh, yeah, I'm going out to eat. Where are you going? I'm going out with my dead son. What do you mean he's dead? He's dead. I don't desire to be in a relationship with a dead son. I'm sorry. What am I going to do with a dead son? Just vex my spirit and be grieved? Because I know this technique doesn't work. And I'm going to prove to you it doesn't work. And if anybody out there, the examples that we're going to show you, if somebody knows a relationship where somebody's in the kingdom and it's because their father befriended them and was homey and all this stuff, please show me. But let's finish this reading it. Oh, I guess that's all. 32. That was it. Did you get?
That's it. Yep.
Okay. All right. So that's the example, guys, that Yah has given us of how to restore. That's how he did Israel. This is an example of how he did Israel. And he gave us his only begotten son, right, to pay the price for our sins. So he put an olive branch right there, and whoever believes him should not perish but have everlasting life. And those who don't believe are condemned. They're condemned what? Already. You're already condemned. Dead man walking. That's why when we get baptized, we die, and then we get raised up from the dead. And we become alive. And we get the baptism of the Holy Spirit. And we walk in the newness of life. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
So, is there anything else? I mean, is there?
You want to go through the examples with the videos that we have up?
So now I want to show you guys some examples. These are some celebrities that's out there. I know people privately, people that I know that got disconnected from their children, or alienated from their children, and all of the results are the same. Now they're not looking at it that some are Hebrews, and then there's some just secular people. And even in this secular context, you can see that the children are unclean. And a lot of it is because the children, because the fathers, and some of the fathers actually admitted that they entitled their children, they spoiled them. And they admit that they're guilty of, entitling them.
Yeah.
And then this is the results. This is for sure the results.
You want me to? Which one do you want me to start off with first? DMX.
To start with DMX. This is a rapper named DMX. He's no longer the late DMX.
The late DMX.
And this show, they love to take advantage of this opportunity, and they wanted to make a show out of it and try to bring him and his son together and just look. Now, I don't agree with DMX lifestyle, and I don't know. I don't know what he was doing. So, but all I know is this: the way this son was treating his father, I wouldn't accept. I wouldn't accept that type of treatment. Would you, Deacon?
No, of course.
But
not.
let's see. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you out there. Let's say you. Let's see. Play it. Just play it. I want
DMX and his son haven't seen each other in a year and a half.
Oh, he's here. Hey.
Everybody know DMX is a tough. He's tough. And look at him break down, seeing his son.
My baby. My baby. You always gonna be my baby. Always. Always. That's why we never talk.
Can't talk to you.
Why not?
Because of all you've done.
You see that? He's right there. All of a sudden got flipped. Who's the father? Who's the son? All that you've done. I brought you into the world so you can question me and tell me what I've done. What have I done? I mean, guys, this is bad. Let me just let it play. But I know right now, this is where your fight or flight stuff is just blowing up right now. Your adrenaline's pumping. You're going to either fight or flight right now. There's going to be a fight or a flight right now. He's rising up, asking, what do you mean? What do you mean what I've done? And now you don't know, am I talking to my son or I'm talking to my ex-wife? Who am I talking to? All these things are happening. Play it.
Loving essence.
What do you mean? Like,
loving essence. Why don't you sit down? And that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk now.
I watched from this to here. I just wanted to, teach you the stuff a father's supposed to teach his son. You know what I mean? And, help you whatever I could. I always extended like, you need to talk about anything, and I just never talked to me. But I hope you didn't think I didn't love you. No. Oh, okay, all right. I'm sure I made that clear. Like, even just to walk by, I love you. You know what I mean? Like, if you said, just that.
Can I hold that for you? Because you're not going to do that right now. Not right now.
You just give me a complex about smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, come on, let me hold it for you. I promise I'll give it back to you. I'll give it back to you.
See, this type of stuff would just, he's talking to his son, and you got this woman on the side, like a freaking chihuahua, like, who are you? Try to treat him like he's a little boy or something, bro. This is total disrespect. And now this will make a man just snap. And I think DMX is doing a good job in holding his composure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as much as he can, but man, I would have walked as soon as that. I would have just got deuce. I'm done. There's only so much a man can take. Play. Sorry.
Your son. Thank you.
So what's going on, man? Different.
Yeah.
And look at this.
What's going on?
Look at this. And every time DMX compromised to be able to talk to his son, the more emboldened the son comes to now treat him like he's a child.
Try to treat him as equal.
DMX, he put the cigarette down because he said, do it for your son. You see, he took the cigarette, he put the cigarette down for his son. And every time he's doing these little things, his preeminence is being diminished.
Yeah.
You're going to see this right before your very own eyes. His thing is being diminished right before this little boy's eye, this boy's eyes. Okay, play it.
He wanted to talk to you. And I said that I would support you all. I'm just keeping the high ground.
So you told her that she wanted to talk to me?
Yeah.
Why couldn't you, like, tell me? Like,
Because you were shut down. I couldn't.
I shut down?
Where you've been?
Where I've been? You haven't seen, like, what do you mean where I've been?
Where you've been acting.
How do I act? Between me and your mother. That's what you mean. With you?
Yes, if always, as a kid, taking me around the women. Yes.
You don't have to agree. Eggs, can you just hear him and then you can respond?
Now, what did I do with these women that we were around? What did I do with them?
Well, one of them, we were at the studio. You kissed on the lips goodbye. And another one. You told me on the lips.
Yeah, the lips.
You were married to my mother, your wife.
Xavier's pain is rooted in what he believes.
I tell you.
You see, it has to do with the mother.
Yeah, and look, he said, yeah. So, what did I do to you? It has nothing to do with their relationship. It has everything to do with what happened to his mom.
Mm-hmm.
It's because he's arrested the development. His emotion is tied to his mother's emotion.
Mm.
So that's all he is he has to grow up and get past this. This is arrested development big time.
Yeah.
He's acting like him, like a baby. It's natural for a baby to think he's one with the mother because, you know, they're breastfeeding, they're growing, right? That's why when you take a baby away, they get what they call separation anxiety. He's still on the milk. That boy is, even though he's grown, he's still on that milk.
He's still on that breast.
He has not separated himself from his mom.
The boy's still on that nipple.
Yep. Still in that nipple. That's why, see, people need meat, but he's still sucking on his mama's breast. Play it.
It's his father's betrayal of his mother.
Yeah. A kiss is harmless. Some women do that. There's no indication. And for one, I don't even think, why would you automatically assume that I'm...
See, this is the thing. You see, now he's in a situation where now he's explaining himself, defending himself to his son. You're not going to win.
Natural.
A father should not have to sit there and explain himself to his son. He is now diminished. He's done. Because now when you put you in a role where now you answering his question and you're defending yourself to try to win your son over, it's over. He's literally diminished his preeminence. He's no longer preeminence anymore in that boy's eye. Don't do it. And this is DMX. Rough Rider.
Where my dog's at.
Well, he don't got no dog. Look at him. Play.
Like, for one, why would I bring you around her? That doesn't even make sense. That's like disrespectful. Why would I bring you around a chick that I'm...
Can I just offer
Can I talk to my son, please?
Wait a minute.
Can I talk to my son, please?
Can I just offer you some
Lady,
insight?
please, I want to talk to my son.
But y'all are talking to each other. Y'all are talking to each other.
Just try to hear her out.
Can I just offer you?
You see
That's the problem right there.
You see this. You see how, look it. You got this bitch on the side, just keep interfering into this relationship.
They call him a guardian ad litem.
Yeah, guardian ad litem. Yeah, telling you or what they call this stuff, supervised visits, right? You're trying to talk, and they're trying to tell you how to talk to your creation. You are the creator, and then you have your creation telling you, listen to her. Who the hell? What the? I mean, bro, this is mind-boggling. This is literally this is unnatural, guys. This is so unnatural.
Yeah.
He's about to like, I am talking to, like he's trying to be calm. I am talking to my son.
You know what it reminds me of, Elder? You know those like things that they do. I don't know if it's in therapy or like recovery, but they the intervention.
Yes.
And everybody is around. You can't say nothing. You just got to listen and just receive it and just accept it.
I tell you, I won't even say nothing. There's nothing to say. To me, as a man, I have nothing. I don't have to defend myself. Yah is my defender. I don't have to defend myself because I'm not going. I don't have to justify why I kept the Shabbat. I don't have to justify why I decided to love Yeshua more than I love my family.
The Bible justifies it.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, but DMX is now, they put him in the corner up, and now it's gonna be hard to regain that. You don't do that. You don't do it, and I don't think it ended well. But keep playing.
I mean, every time we try to talk, there's somebody is always a damn interpreter. I mean, whether it's your mother, whether it's this lady here. Like,
do you feel that he's hearing?
You're very intelligent.
Do you think that he's hearing? Okay.
No.
You know what?
The only thing I want to offer you, here's the only thing I want to offer you, is that he wants to hear what you have to say. He does. Would that be accurate? And he wants to know that
I want him
you
to own up to
hear. Okay, tell him.
I want you to own up and say I did this.
Did I kissed the girl? Yes, that's common sense. It's obvious.
But also, remember all the times you were talking about, bragging, I got this girl.
Okay.
Married to my mother, and then
what you don't understand that there's a difference between and loving someone. There's a big difference. You know what I'm saying? Because you've yet to, and I was well aware of that. I mean, like, before I even met your mother, I knew there was a difference. About loving, she was my heart, yo. A heart, yo. Can't write. Yes, I loved her to death. Wouldn't trade any one of them bitches on the road for a moment of her time. Never. I'm not a liar.
I know that.
Okay,
like you said, but
a lot of stories
about why you were with her.
I mean, so why didn't you, like, yo, Dad, what's up? Like, nothing. You sitting there
because there was never any challenging you. Every time in the house.
You never attempted to challenge.
But you're not letting him finish.
Hey, please.
No.
Man.
Hold on.
Listen, this is my son right here. I'm talking to him.
Lower your voice. Pump your brakes, brother.
Lady.
This is the only thing I want to say. He's not feeling heard by you, X. Let him finish a sentence.
Guys, I'm gonna tell you guys, there's a lot, it takes a lot to get me upset, but I'm telling you, it is very hard to hear a woman talk to a man on how to deal with this. I'm just telling you, it's something happens. I think the fight or flights come on. You just want to slap the one. It's just not good. This is why it's not good. What's the book says? That a woman should not teach nor usurp the authority of a man.
Vexing.
It's vexing.
This is a clear illustration of what vexing looks like.
A woman should be silent. It would have been better to have a man. See, a man can relate to another man, and he will know how to kind of, and he can kind of do it way better. But a woman, it just, bro, man. I remember being in something like this, close to this stuff, and a woman was trying to, and this woman was younger than me. She was a Caucasian woman. I don't have a problem with a Caucasian woman, but I came from the hood, okay? My dad did a very good job getting me out of the hood, and I became a very successful person, and I wasn't going to have some 20-year-old white girl tell me how to be a father. This person didn't even have children.
Elder, that reminds me of when I was a manager at a Sprint store, and people would like to come and complain about their service or whatever, right? And it was this Arabic guy, and he was just upset. But the person dealing with him was one of the women in the store, and he could, because the lady's telling him to calm down. You can't be talking like that. And literally, he looked at me. He's like, "I'll talk to you, but I will not talk to you." And so I had to step in and calm him down. He was more.
You had to be the translator.
Yeah, he was like, it was like, okay, it's not our fault. So let's look at your plan, or let's look at your service. But when he was dealing with that woman,
bro,
it's just unnatural. You got a woman telling you what to do. It's
unnatural.
It's unnatural,
man.
Oh boy,
play it, man.
Anyway.
The sentence. How did it make you feel when you heard and saw those things?
I felt like you were a liar and a hypocrite.
What the fuck?
And how did that make you feel about you? maybe share that so he can understand why your relationship with him, why you didn't talk to him. Because he wants to understand why you didn't talk to him.
You were always, but most of the time, very hostile, and it was always
Towards you.
No, but just in the house, the way you would talk made me feel like beneath you. Even what you were saying was good.
Just give me an example of how I spoke to you that made you, you know what I'm saying, feel like you were, you know.
I mean, it was years ago.
Just one example. Just one, since I've done it so much. This is such a major
What
part.
about today?
Lady, shut up, man.
No,
I'm talking about. No, listen, man. Listen, man. I'm not going for this.
Don't get. I was talking to Xavier.
Damn, y'all, for real.
I was talking to Xavier. I'm not intimidated by you.
You gotta be intimidated, man. Stop running your mouth.
What about today?
I'm not even gonna have this debate, man.
What about today?
You do that.
And
when we'll talk. We'll talk. Will she stop running her mouth? Damn it. That's what we'll do, man.
I would have done that long time.
Oh my goodness.
And you see how the woman says you will not talk to me like that, but you talking to a man. You a woman talking to a man, but he can't talk to you like that, but you can disrespect him.
Come on.
You see the double standard here?
Mm-hmm.
You require him to talk to you a certain way, but then you can talk to him when he told you to shut your mouth. He's talking to his son. I tell you, man, it's off the chain. Whew. God, woo! I tell you, I was feeling DMX, bro. I was feeling him. Yeah, he lasted longer than I would have. As soon as she told me to put my cigarette down, bro, it was over. No.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not.
You probably never held a cigarette in your life.
I know, I don't even smoke. But if I was a smoker and if I want to smoke, I'm gonna smoke. Okay. Maybe that's why he couldn't contain himself, so he wanted to smoke to calm his nerves.
Relax, yeah.
But now you don't want him to smoke, but then you want him to hear this shit that he laid on him, and hell no. Nah. Yeah. I would have been gone a long time ago. Long time ago. All right, let's see. You have
the next one I have is I have two. There's two videos. I got the one that Brian McKnight is speaking, and then I got the other one where the son is speaking. So which one do you want me to play first?
Let me hear. Let me see Brian McKnight speaking.
Okay.
How long is this one?
Hey guys.
Okay, I'm gonna let it play through. I'm gonna try not to stop.
We don't have to play it all the way. We can just get the justice.
Yeah.
Because then we got to play the other.
There's something he said in there that I want to catch, and so I'll take it all the way through.
Yep.
It's Brian McKnight here. I've been traveling about 17 hours.
And for you guys that don't know who Brian McKnight is a famous singer back in the days, R&B. So anyway,
unfortunately, he did a lot of woman worship songs, but
yeah. So
anyway,
so tonight, and I got off the plane to some of the most heinous craziness I've ever seen in my life. That my oldest son Brian would post that I'm abandoning my children. And the reason why, I suppose, is because I have a new family. And I guess this stems from a post that I made the other day about my son, Jack, who I'm very proud of, which isn't to say I'm not and haven't been proud of my other children, but I was proud of this one for the things that he did that day. But we'll get back to that in a second. Anyone who knows me knows over the last 20 years, 30 years now, as a matter of fact, that I've been there for my children every step of the way until recently. And let's be clear, my two sons are 30 and 27, not 12, not 13, but 30 and 27. Now, my daughter's about to turn 18. That's another story I'll get to in a second. I've never missed a day of child support. I've never done anything adverse to my children whatsoever. I've always been there. I've always been there with advice, whether they took it or not. I've always been the sounding board, and I've always been the one that tried to help them achieve whatever dreams they were wanting to reach out for. I guess one of my only faults is I gave my children everything that I didn't have in the hopes that they would appreciate it, because I know how much I would have appreciated it when I was their age.
You hear what he said?
He was parents out there.
So I just want you to see, he admitted. See, that's where he went wrong. He gave his children everything, thinking that they would appreciate it. And so that's how these entitlement children comes in. So that's where he's been taking care of them. And no matter how much you do for the children, they become more and more disrespectful. It blows my mind away. That's why it makes no sense for anybody looking at these two examples. And there's many examples like this. I have personal friends went to jail because of his daughter. Went to jail. And all he wanted to do is love her. And it's like these children are like, it's like a Trojan horse. It's like, you know, if you know anything about the Trojan horse, that's how the Trojan horse got behind enemy lines or whatever. And inside the Trojan horse is a bunch of the soldiers ready to kill the people on the other side. And sometimes these children become like Trojan horse for the woman.
Mm-hmm.
Just to unload. What is a man going to do with these emotions that these children are dealing with? He didn't create it. It's the woman that did it. Let her deal with it. And so when she can't deal with it anymore, she said, perfect, you're right now. Now you're right to go blow and explode in your father's face. Because and what did Brian McKnight says? As soon as they find out that you have another family and you're moving on and you're happy and they're getting old and decrepit and lonely, so now they want to see misery loves company. That's happening. So now they take that ball of emotion that these children have not been able to resolve, the conflict resolution that they're looking for. Now they say, now they let them go see their father. So they what? So now they can make their father miserable and take away from his new family and his new life and take away his peace. So you guys got to protect your peace, protect your meat. They should call it meat. Protect your peace. Okay, peace and meat, money, energy. Oh, that's probably, I guess, for attention and time. Okay, play it.
They're entitling your children is probably one of the worst things you can do. And I know I am guilty of that. For whatever reasons, I'm guilty of that. Tough love is a tough thing as a parent to try to institute to your children because you want to help them as much as you can. And I did as much as I possibly could. When I stopped doing that for them, BJ was 25 and Nico was 22. And it wasn't like I completely cut them off at that point. That happened much later. But I've been there. When I put them out of my house, I gave them an apartment for 2 years. And I said, guys, this is it. This is the time to grow up. I'm giving you 2 years. I'm going to pay for everything for 2 years, but you're going to have to work or do something because at the end of those 2 years, that's going to be it. It's time to be men here, guys. It's time to grow up. At the end of those 2 years, they hadn't done any of it. It was just right around the time that Leilani and I had gotten together. Leilani was working at Children's Hospital. And let's be clear, Leilani has been one of the only people who's been an advocate to keeping us together, to keeping us having a relationship because she wants to have the nuclear family as much as I did. And they have spit in her face at every turn. She got them jobs at the hospital, $18 an hour with benefits and with the option of the hospital actually paying for them to go back to school. They said, and I quote, that they knew they didn't want to stop smoking and they would have to pass a drug test. And the day I had the doctors looking into it, Nico's on there, taking a big puff, which is fine. If you want to smoke, that's fine. I'm not saying that that's bad. If that's your choice, that's your choice. But what I'm telling you is that we have been advocates for them every step of the way. Now let's go to the part where we have been estranged. Again, we talk about abandonment. I'm not abandoning them. We are estranged, which happens more often than not in this particular situation. BJ broke into our home.
Yeah, I was just gonna say in this country, it was strange. Keep going.
Yeah.
A few months ago, and he put X's on the eyes of our wedding photos. And then he put a photo of my first wedding on Leilani's vanity. It was at that moment, and after I heard him say, and was pointed to from other friends of mine that saw his posts on social media, that he basically said that I was better off dead to him than alive. I was more valuable to him dead than alive. And that was the end of me dealing with him. If you look at my Instagram, you'll see that not my last video, but the video before that, 42, the song was written by Brian and I, and it was directed, the video, by Nico. And I went on and I said how proud I was of Nico at the time, and I really, really was. He did an awesome job in that video. Even before that, less than 2 years ago, these are the two gentlemen who stood up for me as my best man in my wedding. So abandonment, deadbeat dad, I'll reiterate, I've never missed a day of child support. I've been there every step of the way. BJ, he talks about Jack's new car. BJ had 3 brand new cars before he was 22. But I'm not talking about material things because none of this has anything to do with money. It's about respect. Respect goes both ways. And even in family, there's a line that shouldn't and should not ever be crossed. It's crazy to me that people will just believe anything. And I thought it was important to set the record straight and let you guys know that abandonment has nothing to do with any of this. Deadbeat dad, I've been there. every step of the way. And let's also remember that these kids are 30 and 27, not 12. It's time for grown men to be grown men. And I'm sorry that tough love happens to be this way. And I do wish them the best. I want them to have and to reach their dreams and their full potential. But like any other man in the world, you got to go out there and you got to take it. As far as my daughter is concerned, her mother, if you look back at my Instagram, she was a part of this family too, with Jack and Julie and Leilani and myself. And unfortunately, along the way, a couple of years ago, I got wind that there was an older cousin who was above 18 who was quite possibly having sex with her. So I called, as a father should, to the state office for children's affairs there in Arizona, and I never heard anything back. But the next thing that her mother did was to block all of us from her social media, from her phone, and completely estranged her from us. What that told me was they didn't want me to be involved in her life that way. So to see the post that she said, considering that her mother only had a child with me for money in the first place, and I'll reiterate this, I have not missed a child support payment. She goes to one of the most incredible private schools in Arizona. So I don't know where this is all coming from, but I thought
we get the gist of it.
You guys get the gist of it. I think he said we don't have to see. I don't know. Is this the son he was doing the interview?
Yeah.
We don't have to watch that one.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah. Huh? Did he say anything? Did you have a cue to something?
I don't have a cue to it. It would just be in the beginning.
Yeah. You guys, once again, he said it. He gave his children everything. He said that it was abandoned. Guys, I've been accused of the same thing. Literally, it's just off the chain. So it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Now, these are just happen to be two famous people who've put their stuff out there. You got me out there. I'm just telling you, it just doesn't work. I've talked to people privately. I have never, and even the people that do have a good relationship, I could have showed you the one with Emmett Smith and his daughter. But guess what? He ain't no father. He's just happy that she validates him. And this is a Hall of Famer, Emmett Smith.
Yeah, he was one with TD Jakes. Yeah,
3-time Pro Bowler or something, Super Bowler. I mean, Emmett Smith. I grew up watching video games and everything, and now he's looking for his daughter's validation that he's a good dad. Bro, it's over. And so that's not what I'm looking for. There's a line you just don't cross, and I need to be in my role, and the children have to be in their role. And so as men, you have to demand that type of respect. You have to remember who you represent. You represent the Most High Yah. You are creating the image and glory of the Most High Yah. So you can lower it down, but you are participating in the disobedience of your children.
Yep.
You're playing a part in that. And so you keep the standard there and hope that your children figure out. Even when all this is said, Brian McKnight wished the best for his children. And that's all you just wish the best for them, and you hold your preeminence. You hold your preeminence and hope they find a way to figure it out. Maybe they just have to hit rock bottom. They have to. I mean, I know I wouldn't have truly accepted this truth and come into the truth of the knowledge of the truth if I wasn't humble. I had to be humbled. I was considered a very wealthy man. I still am, but I mean, I was considered a wealthy man in the world. That's why Jesus said it's hard for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. It's easier for a camel to go on a needle than it is for a rich man, because he has to give up a lot. He has to be humbled, even the more so. So if children are coming to you and they have not hit rock bottom, it's a good chance that they're not going to make it to the kingdom. I'm challenging you, if you really, really say you love your children, you will let them hit rock bottom before you truly accept them back or you lift them up. You don't just lift them up. This is not the way. You don't lift them up.
You gotta be tough love.
You gotta be tough love.
Yep.
You can not everybody don't, you gotta, if you want a trophy for running a race, you come in first place. Don't give them a trophy for coming in last place.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get that data boy because you showed up. You need to humble yourself so that I can restore you correctly, properly, biblically, according to my heavenly Father's ways.
Yeah. Not
my ways, his ways. Now, if somebody can find me where Yah was willing to show grace to the prideful, please show me. Deacon, do you know of one right now? Because you're a deacon, you ordained, you may know of something I didn't know.
No elder.
Does anybody know? Does anybody put a zero? Put a zero if you can't. If anybody's seen anywhere in the Bible where it says that God exalts the pride, the prideful, and if you can't find one, then put a 10, and please give us a scripture with that. I'm gonna give people time, and then we're gonna get ready for this reaction video. The 10, you gave me a 10? Don't give me a 10. 10 is for those people who can actually find a verse where Yah exalted those who are prideful, and yeah, they exalted those who are prideful.
My bad, elder.
Yeah, you gotta pay attention. Like, don't you put me on there. Erase that. How?
I can't erase it.
Yeah,
how to erase it? Hey, Xavier, put Elder on timeout.
Yeah, put me on timeout. What the hell's going on around here? But maybe somebody found it. And if you can't find where Yah exalts the prideful,
Elijah put 10. Elijah, what are you doing, bro?
Elijah put 0.
No, he put 10. Now he corrected it.
He corrected it. Okay, he made a correction.
Put that. He's going off for leadership. He was going
put first Elijah on timeout. Keep the second. All right. What is everybody putting 0? See, no one's gonna find that. And so if none of you guys are able to find this stuff, then guess what? There's a good chance that we shouldn't be doing that too. We shouldn't be exalt our children in their pride. We need to wait until they're humble, until they show some sense of humility. And sometimes you're going to have to help them out a little bit, give them an olive branch, but be mindful of your preeminence. Mm-hmm. Be mindful of that. Because if you're not, you're going to be down a slippery slope like Brian McKnight and DMX.
Elijah said he repented. Hallelujah.
Okay. See, Elijah gets it. See, our brother gets it. He repented. See, now I can lift him up. See, he came in humility, acknowledged his fault. So now we can lift up Elijah, brother Elijah, and say, Elijah, you've been forgiven. Be at peace, my brother. Go and be at peace and sin no more. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
See that? See, look, he actually literally practices. Elijah, he probably did that on purpose just so he could show how humility looks.
This how you do it.
How it looks like. I stand corrected. All right, let's do the reaction time.
Reaction time with Elder. I'll preface this, Elder. It was hard to find reactions to fit the subject a little bit, just because there's a lot about honoring your mother, but not a lot about honoring your father. So there's one, and then we'll just keep it at one here.
All right.
Father was bad. Me and my father were exceptionally close. I miss him like the deserts miss the rain. He is mentioned and talked about now so often on the internet because of my massive fame. I've kept him alive. By becoming so successful, people are interested in my origin, which makes people talk about him. If you have a duty to your bloodline and a duty to your ancestors and you truly love your parents, how can you still be saying home playing video games being a lazy piece of shit?
Wow. You see? And Tate is very famous and teaching people how to be masculine and everything. And look at this is a multi, I don't even know how rich he is, but he's a multi-millionaire, famous, he's very influential. And he even, as great as this man is, even he acknowledges his father. But Deacon just told you it's hard to even find videos like this where somebody acknowledges their father.
Yeah. I
just told you, I've done more. I've made more money than my father's ever dreamed of. I have more children than my father's ever had. I in so many ways. But guess what? I wouldn't have been able to do any of this stuff if it wasn't for my father, who I come from.
That's true.
Because he's the one that instilled in me the work ethic. He's the one that set me up for success. He told me how to deal with teachers, how to deal with coaches. He said, hey, when you do a coach, you listen to your coach. That's why I didn't listen to all the guys on the playground. I didn't listen to all my team. I listened to the coach. He said, you listen to the coaches. You listen to those who are older than you because they've gone before you. They will give you the key path to success, wherever it is. Mm-hmm. My dad told me that. He's the one. You know why I'm so wealthy? You know why I didn't go broke in the NFL? Because my dad taught me long ago. I remember being in the plumbing and in the van with him, taking me to work. Because he was going not to his work, but I was going with my dad while he was going to work with him, working with him. And I remember he says, you always save for rainy days. My dad taught me that principle of saving for rainy days. So guess what I do? I save for rainy days. I'm a very good savior because of my dad instilling that in me.
Yep.
I can't take credit for my success and not acknowledge my father. How's that possible? I bet you if my father wasn't born, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. And all of you guys can say that about your creator. If your creator wasn't around and it wasn't born, you wouldn't be here. So the least you can do is show him the honor. And fathers, you need to know who you are in your children's life. They wouldn't be there if it wasn't for you. So don't treat them like there's some type of God or something. They should be worshiping you because you created them, not the other way around. And that's what's happening now. You got the creator, you got the creation, expecting that the creator should worship them.
Backwards.
Or people are worshiping the creation instead of the creator. That's the society we live in. We show more reverence and more respect to the creation rather than the creator. And we think that this feminist movement and all the stuff that's happening is really about women's right when it's really an attack on the Most High Yah.
Yep.
It's an attack on Yah. That's why they hate masculinity, because it's an attack on Yah. So Andrew Tate, I respect him a lot. And look at him. He acknowledges his father.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Well, that's reaction time with Elder Kabir. Well, there's not much happening in the chat. I can do my my little announcements here, and then I'll give you the floor for the last word.
All right.
All right, Saints. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And also remember to visit straightway.com for any resources and newsletters. If you're interested in fellowship with Straightway, you can call the dining hall. Ask for Elder Becker. The number to call is 615-688-3025. Again, if you'd like to fellowship with the nearby assembly, please call the dining hall. Ask for Elder Becker. And the number to call is 615-688-3025. You can also visit straightway.com for more contact information. Elder Kabir, please give us your closing words.
Well, guys, I hope this was helpful to you guys. I just wanted to come from the perspective of the father. A lot of time we can blame our children for how they are. We can blame society. We can blame our women. But fathers, it's really up to us to respect the office of fatherhood. We can't expect people to respect the fatherhood, the office of fatherhood, if we're not respecting it. So treat it as such. Demand respect. Don't chase your children. Don't be catering to their desires. You have to remain as the head. And so I hope this helps a lot of people, that when you deal with your children, some of you guys are going to have to wait 20 years to get to that point. Shoot, I got children in their 20s, so I may start myself experiencing my children reaching out to me, and I think that I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the challenges. I'm ready for them if they're humble, and I hope they come humble. I really hope that they come in humility so I can restore them, because I want to restore them, because I love them. I desire to restore them. But if they come in their pride, I'm going to be tough enough, I'm going to be strong enough that I'm going to have to resist him. I'm going to have to resist the proud, and hope to maybe meet another time when they hit rock bottom, or maybe they experience life a little. Maybe when they walk a mile in my shoe, or deal with women, or deal with children, maybe at a later time, it will be better to be able to have that meeting where they can be a little bit more humble and I can restore them properly. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I am doing everything to save myself from this untoward generation. So however I deal with my brother Deacon, no matter how I deal with my children or anybody, all I'm doing is I'm performing for an audience of one. We all should be thinking like that. That at the end of the day, no matter what your role, if your character is father, act like father. If your character is son, act like son. If your character is husband, act like husband. If it's daughter, be a daughter. If it's wife, be a wife. But we are going to be judged according to our role. Each one of us is going to be judged. So you can't be a father acting like the son. So I really hope that this stimulate thought. I hope this created discussion. I hope you guys please share this video, share it, and we'll get more stuff out during the week. Until next time, be faithful in the little things. Shalom, shalom.